Done.
Welcome to BizTalk OnxOn with myself, Fazlin, and my co-host Ardy Ismail, where we will be talking and getting involved in discussions with business owners here in Singapore and around the region to learn from them their challenges and how they overcame those challenges. And we want to prick their brains for ideas and tips in order to use them to benefit our own businesses as well. So if you're listening to us through podcasts, welcome. And if you're watching via Facebook Live telecast, let's roll in the intro.
Tahun pertama, kedua, ketiga, there's a fixed rate untuk saya gini. So saya macam, okey lah, sedap hati dengar. So tak fikir apa-apa. Dah lepas 3 tahun tu saya tengok, monthly deduction saya makin tinggi . Bila pak saya kira balik, saya duduk rumah saya tu 7 tahun, tambah lagi 500. 500 tu tambah banyak, nak dekat 1000 lebih. Saya macam, jejaka ni bernama Shamir datang daripada Dayn punya company datang my house explain ni semua, but to me macam again masih lagi macam betul ke dia buat ni, betul ke tak, pasal tak percaya kan, tak pernah buat gitu. Yang si Shamir ni explain to me, explain dan macam okay, both of you tak payah turun, dia will settlekan. Dan tu macam mamak ni dah betul, takkan dia nak settlekan kat sini, bukan ke kita guna bank. Dia kata tak payah, I just need your particulars, your detail ke apa yang dia perlukan, kita buat kat situ, everything dia settlekan. Dia carikan all the different rate, dia akan advise kita rate mana yang bagus. Macam okay, ini 2 tahun at this rate, yang ini 3 tahun at this rate. So kalau kita, of course kita nampak the cheapest, tapi dia akan explainkan kita kenapa nak kena ambil ni, kenapa ambil ni. Itu yang buat saya macam mamak ni bagus lah, dia punya explain tu macam bagus lah, at least macam tak was-was, orang kata tak was-was. Ni kita panggil dia ni berapa yang nak kena bayar dia, itu part bila part kita tanya gini FOC lah babe, free of charge.
I am on your side, I tak bias, I independent and the service is free.
Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. This is part 2 of our episode tonight, BizTalk OnxOn. Tonight, we have a special guest with us. He is Shamir Wahid. He's from Dayn Advisory. He is a mortgage advisor. And earlier in part 1, we have managed to talk and discuss about mortgage matters, right? So now we are going to talk about RIBA issues. So Adi, take it away.
Okay. What's your take, Shamir? When people claim that taking bank loans would only constitute to RIBA, and if there are possibilities to prevent it, or should one actually look for ways to actually not take a loan, even if it's even possible at all.
So it's a very common question that I receive from my Muslim customers. So maybe I have to give a little bit of background, kind of why I may not be the best, okay, but I do have some experience dealing with this throughout my career. So I started my career with Maybank, as I mentioned previously, and I was with them for about a year, and I helped them to launch their first Islamic term deposit, the fixed deposit product in Singapore, the first in Singapore. So subsequently, I moved over to CIMB, and I was with the Islamic Finance Department for 3 years, about 3 years, before I moved to corporate banking. So they say, wah, bagus lah, dah masuk Islamic Finance kan, you're doing things the halal way, you're earning halal income and all that kind of stuff. So the moment I switched over to conventional, right? Which means now I am kirakan dah macam murtad, I'm extending conventional loans to corporate clients. But I already know how to structure something to become Islamic. So I already know how to slaughter the chicken to make it halal. So now I want to know what makes the chicken to be cooked later nice, So that's why I move over to corporate banking. So that's why I learn, if I were to look at you as a business, whether I can lend you money or not. So those are very much strategy, very much commercial considerations. And then my last role was as a private banker, whereby I see all these high net worth individuals and all the loans that they take on, and they use the power of leverage lah, kan? So you have to understand the structure first. So if I were to, I'm gonna ask you both this question, okay? And I want to see what your response is like. I just did an event yesterday and 120 people voted. Okay, when I posed this question, is Islamic home financing in Singapore a need or want? Fazlin?
Adi.
Aku pula kau tolak.
Both of you can answer either.
Islamic home financing, if it is available, right?
Yeah.
Then I guess it is a need lah.
Okay.
Because most people would want to actually do things the Sharia way, and therefore they could actually feel also at ease with what they are doing. Yeah, that's my answer.
Okay, Fazlin?
Yeah.
Is it a need or
For me,
want?
property is definitely a need because you have to put a shelter on your head, right? It's not only your head, but your family members' head as well. So in order to buy a property, we need to get some finance going, right? So like I said, if there is an opportunity for us to opt for a Sharia compliant instrument or a bank or any financial instruments that offer Sharia compliant financial, things and all that, of course I'll take that, right? But if there isn't, then I have to fall back to conventional, definitely, because there's no other choice. Right? So I think that's for me.
It'll be
I don't
interesting
know.
to engage the audience a little bit also and find out, is Islamic home financing in Singapore a need or a want?
Yeah. So to
just
all our
maybe-
viewers right now, what do you guys think? Do you think Islamic financial instrument, is it a need or is it a want? So you guys can just leave your answers in the comments right now because it will help definitely in our discussion right now.
Yeah. So then next question. Next question. If it is available and Islamic home financing is at 3% per annum and conventional home loan is at 1.5% per annum, which one will you choose?
Okay. So Islamic finance is higher than conventional.
Of course, yeah. 3%.
Okay,
per
Islamic finance is 3%.
annum. Yeah.
Is it?
Correct.
And conventional finance is 1%.
1.5%.
1.5%.
That means it's half lah.
Half.
I'll go for Islamic.
Yeah, if I can afford it, I'll go for Islamic as well.
Okay, so it goes back to affordability, right? So what's the maximum you'll pay extra on your monthly installment? 200, 400, 600, 800, $1,000? Different people will have different
Correct.
views
Threshold
on
lah.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So 63% said, okay, I'm just going to share with you the statistics because it's very interesting statistics. So 77% voted is a need and 24% actually voted is a want.
Yeah, then that
60
include mud movers. Mud movers Singapore says need.
60, and on the second question, if Islamic home financing is at 3% and conventional home loan is at 1.5%, okay, 63% said I will pay more. 37% says I will choose conventional because it's cheaper. Very interesting, huh? I repeat, 63% says I will pay more for Islamic. 37% says I will go for the conventional because it's cheaper. Yeah. But I think if I were to set the threshold, some of the 63% might move over to 37%. To you, maybe $1,000 is not meaningful. That's why you're okay to pay extra because it's Islamic. But to some, $1,000, I think I can use it to feed my kids. I can pay for their school fees. I can pay for their extra tuition.
Okay.
So now how do you weigh RIBA and permissibility right now?
Okay.
So-
but before we go to that, Shamir, is there any riba elements not? Or any trace of riba in Islamic finance? In current Islamic finance?
In current Islamic finance, okay. So it goes back to the different structures of what makes Islamic finance really Islamic finance, betul? So we go simple. There are so many structures out there. So I'm just going to choose one. Yang paling senang ya. Yang paling senang is actually your residential property loan, betul? Fazlin wants to buy a house. You go to me, the bank. I say, okay, which house you want to buy? Okay, that one, Okay, I lend you $1 million, for example. Okay, you go ahead and buy the bank. Buy the house.
Okay. By the bank pun boleh juga.
So you buy the house lah, because I lend you the money, you go and buy the house. So our relationship sekarang between bank and Fazlin is a borrower-lender relationship. In Islamic finance, okay, Fazlin, that's the house you want to buy, right? Okay, I buy the house first. Okay, I buy for, say for example, 1 million, and I sell to you at 1 million plus 2.6% per annum, for example. So that 2.6% per annum tu is interest ke profit, bro?
It's profit.
So our relationship now is become more of a sale and purchase transaction. So that what it is make it Sharia compliant lah, because now the relationship changes. Right? So now based on this structure, okay, why I say that it is challenging to be able to lobby this. So in conventional finance, the relationship is about lending and borrowing. In Islamic finance, it's about buying, it's about selling, it's about leasing, it's about partnership. So these things, the bank is not in the business of buying and selling properties. The bank is in the business of collecting deposits and mobilizing the money out. So if I were to change this, that means allow this, right? If I am orang atas, you know, so am I going to change my laws to accommodate this? Your Residential Property Act kena tukar. You beli, sekarang bank beli property, bank boleh beli property ke tak? And then bank dah beli property, kena bayar stamp duty. And then bank dah beli, now I own the property. Bank own property. Now bank sell to Fazlin. I kena sell the stamp duty. Pasal immediate apa I buat. So IRAS pun got to go and change dia punya law. Then Fazlin say, alamak, aku tak boleh bayar sekarang. I want to bayar over 20 years kan. Can I use my CPF? Boleh ke tak?
Without interest, right?
Because now you are not paying interest on your home loan. Now you're paying profit on the sale transaction which I just entered into with you. So can you use your CPF money towards that? And then
If it can be done, it'll be better, isn't it?
Correct. So the laws got to change. If the laws got to change, someone got to lobby in Parliament lah. Then they pass a bill, just like how the COVID-19 Act was passed down. You know, if you don't comply, then there will be certain measures imposed on you lah. There'll be certain punishment lah kan. So if it needs a lot of political will lah, I would say.
Is it correct to say, sorry Shami, is it correct to say that it can be done, it's just that there is not enough political will or political power to back it up in that sense, correct?
Correct. So you got to debate this in Parliament lah, you know, whether is it worthwhile considering or not. And then of course you have other regulators, you know, like your HDB, you have MUIS also got to be involved at a certain extent. Because right now for food, it's very clear, right? You have MUIS giving out the halal cert. Is MUIS going to endorse Maybank's Islamic home financing as halal, as Sharia compliant? It's a private entity, you know, sekarang you're endorsing something, you know, is that okay? If CIMB were to launch, is Maybank going to give CIMB the same halal cert, Sharia compliant? Your product is Sharia compliant, no problem. So therein lies some challenges with the regulators. But now we are all business owners, correct?
Right.
So internally sekarang, if I want to launch this product as a bank, okay, I'm going to ask the same basic questions any business owner would probably consider. Ada demand ke tak? Kalau demand ada, where are the statistics? So there are 500.
Can you use your statistics, Shamir? Can you use your stats just now? It's about 67%, right? 63%.
Correct. So now the next question is volume, right?
Yeah.
Volume. So
But Adi, that 67% is based on that program that he attended. Those who participate, right? Those who participated in that program.
Yeah,
But now we are
150
talking
people.
about the whole of Singapore.
Yeah, well, we can take a sample size, Roslyn. So maybe we take a sample size of a few hundred people. I think it could actually justify.
You can go another way. You look at Singapore statistics, the number of Malay Muslim households in Singapore. and what kind of houses they are staying in, and maybe you apply a certain assumption that most of them taking on 60% of their property value, okay, then that's the loan amount that they had taken lah. But these are assumptions only, right? So assumptions anyone can timbak, you know. Hey, you sure not 60% of them, the 60% of say 100 million are taking up loan. It only says the household size only. So, but there are other considerations as well. So now, because the relationship changes, there's legal costs. I got to change my documentation, right, as the bank. And then you have IT costs. I got to develop my backend, right, to support this particular product. I need to key in properly in the system that is no longer profit, it's interest now over how many years and all that. And then there's marketing costs.
So I think at this moment in time, if let's say we want to look at the possibility of a Sharia compliant home loan, it's going to be it can be done, it seems, but it's going to be quite a bit of a challenge.
Correct. So the two main challenges is regulations, and the second main challenge is, can you develop a business case out of it? And the bank being bank, they are still a for-profit organization, right? So I ran all the business case during my career before. Best case, worst case, you know, all the different permutations are, you know, trying to massage the numbers to make it look good to the committee. And committee, not all are Muslims. So you have all your non-Muslims also trying to say, hey, why we take 5 years to make back the money, or we take 3 years to make back the money. And also that's not assured, right? Everyone will come over to us, you know. Am I willing to take that kind of risk or not? So, and then training, bank staff. The concept which I shared with you, the term is actually called murabaha. Bukan murtabah, murabaha.
Yep, murabaha.
So can you imagine I'm trying to teach my mortgage bankers who are predominantly non-Muslims, trying to explain murabaha?
Okay, Shamir. So what you're trying to say, all in all, is that it's okay for us to take conventional. It's okay for us to take riba.
So I'm not going to say whether it's okay or not okay, because there are certain things you got to consider. Okay, so what is necessity to you? Okay, we may not have the same definition. Some people feel that I need to have a house over my head. I'm okay to squeeze my family of 7 in a 3-room flat. Okay, what is hardship to me is different from you. Maybe 3-room flat 7 orang, to me I'm okay je, kita tak kisah, we are okay to rug it out. But to you, alamak, tak boleh lah, you know, 3-room flat 7 orang, wah, it's a tight squeeze I still need to move you know. And then what is convenience to you, right? You want to be near to the east side, or you okay to move all the way to the north? So the next poll question is actually pretty interesting, okay, because now we confirm, not say confirm lah, we sort of ascertain that there is going to be a really big challenge to launch the product in Singapore. So the next poll question which I polled yesterday was, if you have 300,000 cash, and let's say you're earning a good enough salary, right, and you don't own any property, and there's no Islamic home loan in Singapore, there's no Islamic home financing in Singapore, no Islamic option in Singapore, what would you do? You know, would you fully pay up a 3-room flat? Or, okay, doesn't matter the location, 300,000 can buy a 3-room flat, enough, sufficient. No? You can put a shelter over your head, 300,000, enough, can fully pay. Or would you use it as a down payment for your dream HDB, EA, EM, EC, private condo in a location that you love, and you will have to take the conventional loan because there's no Islamic option? Or would you use it as a down payment for a potential investment property and you rent it out? The stats is very interesting. What would you do if I say 300,000 cash? No Islamic
I'll
home
go for
loan.
the latter.
You go for the latter. Mr. Ardy, question
Okay.
is, you don't own any property, you earn pretty decent, you can take on the loan, no problem, credit issue semua okay, everything semua okay, and you have 300,000 cash. What would you do? Now you have to live a rebate-free lifestyle, right? Would you fully pay out a 3-room flat, squeeze all your family inside in a location that you don't like, as long as no loan? Or would you use it as down payment and take on a loan because you are able to?
Yeah, I think this one is really a question of whether you want to lead a riba-free life. I mean, there are people who are actually willing to sacrifice and buy that 3-room flat and pay full.
Correct.
right?
So these are
Yeah.
difficult questions. I don't intend any offense here, but the poll results actually shows for itself. 51% actually says that they are okay to fully pay up a 3-room flat, full cash, as long as no loan.
Half.
That
I
means
see.
half,
I see.
49% says they will use it down payment to buy a property that they love or buy a property for investment. It was very interesting statistics for 120 people.
I'm just wondering what the viewers are thinking. What do you guys think? Will you which option will you guys take? Let us know.
So these very stats. So how do you make a decision, right? Now there's no Islamic option. How? So you have to figure out what is your intention. Okay, is it the best option for you? Is it the only option for you? So what is halal sometimes may not be necessarily good for you, right? So I have a very favorite analogy lah, chicken rice analogy. The ingredients make it halal, the product becomes halal, okay? But the technique, the knowledge, the skills, and the experience in you making the chicken rice will determine whether it's tasty and delicious, right? But if you eat too much halal chicken rice every day, it's not necessarily good for you. So you can have a product, right? Even if there's an Islamic home financing product today, if you make the wrong purchase, even with that leverage capability, even if you're able to take on that loan, right, you might still lose money. So you need to develop the knowledge and skills in order to place that 300,000 earlier in a property that may potentially make you money later on. So case in point is financial instruments, right? The product is halal. So back then there's this stock in the market. It's called Sabana REIT. It was Sharia compliant. Okay, but when they first IPO, right? I can't remember the exact pricing. Okay, it was a certain pricing, $1, but today it has fallen more than maybe 60%. So the product is halal, it's Sharia compliant, but the share price has dropped. So why the share price drop is because of performance, right? The underlying, whether is it good to buy or not to buy. So which is more important, a halal product or a universal strategy when it comes to using a loan or using a leverage?
Okay.
So you got to weigh this lah.
Yeah, I've actually come across a discussion also on a forum, right? Like some people are saying that if it's for your first home and you need to stay in it, so it's okay. If there's no other form of loans, you could actually get the conventional ones. But there are some with the view that if it's for a second property, then it's no longer becoming something that you need. It's a want. So therefore, you shouldn't be engaging in that kind of in taking another home loan. And these are opinions, I guess.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it goes back to the definition of what is necessity to you, what is hardship to you, what is convenience to you. And when it comes to the structure, right, you have different scholar opinions. Some say, okay, no problem, you can take conventional loan in Singapore. And these are prominent scholars, learned scholars also. But given the situation that we are in a non-Muslim land, right? And then there are also scholars who are very strong and say that, hey, don't go for the conventional, don't expose yourself to riba, if possible, just rent forever.
Yeah.
But when you do that, then there will be miss opportunities lah, right? Because rental is still an expense, right? So it is
different
an
schools
option.
of thoughts lah.
Exactly.
Different
So
schools of thoughts.
who do you want to follow?
Well,
Yeah.
I think you're right. It really depends on individual
Intention.
interpretation and what. Yes, correct.
Intention. So everything falls back to intention lah.
One thing that is good lah, I would say that because there are two options, you see, two different schools of thoughts. So we don't have to like literally or follow one in that sense lah. We can always fall back to the other.
So
Yeah.
again, I think I want to repeat this so that the viewers can remember what is your intention. Is it the only option for you, and is it the best option for you given your own personal definition of what is necessity and what is hardship, what is convenience to you, and all that. But at the end of the day, whatever choice you make, right, we all want to manage the biggest elephant in the room, which is our biggest liability lah. So what are the ways? I've come up with at least 5 different ways lah. It really depends on your own personal definition of necessity, hardship, what's your intention, is it the only option for you and all that. So one option is you sell off your property and just rent forever kan. You're debt free, your conscience is clear, no riba. There are people who are like this, they make their money elsewhere, not property. It could be from their own business, from their own investments. They're very savvy, they're very knowledgeable in other areas, they can make their money elsewhere. But not many people fall in this category. So they don't mind paying rental as an expense. And then the other option is you pay it off early lah. Pay as fast as possible, as soon as possible. So you lower the tenor and you increase your monthly installment. I think the first segment I already shared that. Pay off as fast as possible. But internally you got to understand lah kan, that if I have a fully paid up property, does that equate to hoarding wealth? Because hoarding wealth is also religiously problematic. Because there are other social and spiritual, implications when it comes to hoarding wealth. You become obsessive. I want a fully paid up property. I want 2 fully paid up property.
But that goes back to your intention again, right?
Correct.
So if you quickly want to get it done and settled, then only Allah knows, that you want to have it settled as soon as possible. So it won't be considered as hoarding of wealth in that sense, right?
So it goes back to intention, right? So will your character change after you have a fully paid up property? Do you go around say, aku dah habis bayar aku punya rumah?
Okay, that would be boasting. That would be another set of sins lah, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, so but there are some problems with that. Okay, the pros will say that, okay, it's safe, it's fast. You can quickly get your way out of riba. There's less work needed. You don't have to think so much. But maybe your cash flow is affected because you lower your tenor and your monthly installment naik kan.
Right.
And then you have the whole, if most of us are on HDB property and HDB is the depreciating asset, which means you're leaving your beneficiaries, something that could potentially be not much value later on. And then you have the whole issue with CPF accrued interest, which I will not even go there lah. Nanti tak habis nanti dia punya talk tadi.
Sampai pagi bro.
See? So but another third strategy is refinance.
Yeah.
Save any interest lah where you can. But as long as you know what you're doing or you have someone to guide you lah on what to do when it comes to refinancing. Kan?
Yeah. So there's quite a bit of options, Shamir, that you really consider.
So far dah 3 dah. Ada lagi lah. Yeah, so
you mentioned 5, right? What are the 2s?
So 4 is, okay, kan tadi I cakap, investors typically think of increasing the tenor, lower the monthly installment. Okay, so whatever savings they make from the stretching of tenor, stretching of the loan term, okay, they actually reinvest the money. So example layman example, 300,000 loan, 15 years loan tenor, okay, at about 1.5%, it's about $1,900, okay. But if they stretch from 15 years to 25 years, right, their monthly installment now becomes $1,200, which means they save $800 every month. Dalam 1 tahun is $9,600, close to $10,000. $10,000, I think you give Mr. Ardy will fly lah over the next 4 to 5 years. Then eventually that 10,000 becomes 50,000, 60,000 at year 5, year 6, year 7, year 8, year 9. You take that lump sum and then you pay down your loan. That could be a strategy.
Yep.
So it's the strategy is called reinvest lah. You reinvest the savings today for better gains later on. But you must have the knowledge, the skills, the ability to be able to garner decent returns, and the returns must beat your interest rate. So if your interest rate is 1.5%, if you earn 4 to 5% per annum, or even if you're good, you can earn 20% per annum, then it goes back to your intention lah kan.
Yeah, definitely. So basically I guess we have mud movers Singapore also saying something that that he would like to, if he can afford it, pay off the property without being tangled with interest. That to him is the best scenario. And I guess there are people out there, right, with similar belief systems. And so it's really like at the end of the day, we have discussed quite a number of things on both sides, right? On if let's say you go on the riba free way, okay, this is the pros and cons, and then if you go on the conventional way, you also have the pros and cons of being able to leverage and get more returns from your money in that sense, right? So I guess it's a choice, right? It's a personal choice at the end of the day. But I guess our show today we have actually brought out all these issues so that people can start to think about it, and see which one they can actually use for their own deliberate action.
No, I mean, once again, thank you for inviting me on this platform. I think it's just to create more awareness. What is the challenge? So people are aware of the challenges, and then given the challenges, what are their options going forward, and how they set their intention, and how they define necessity, hardship, convenience, and how they reconcile with themselves. So at the end of the day, if you choose one of the strategies, say just refinancing, and it helps you to save some money. I think it was my intention when I first started the business. If I can help save $1 of interest from some of my Muslim brothers in my business, then only Allah knows whether I will be rewarded for it. And Allah knows best on what are your respective decisions when it comes to property purchase in Singapore lah.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just running through some of the comments by our viewers. Nuratni was saying that fully paid property will appreciate someday. Yep. Okay. All right then. So how do I contact you, Shamir? Should I need some advice on this?
Okay, so there's a QR code that you see on screen, okay, or you can visit my website and just leave your contact details there. And for those of you looking to refinance, okay, over from a HDB loan, or even if you're currently on a bank loan and you don't know how to go about, okay, I am having a SG55 birthday promo this for this whole month. It's refi 55. So scan the QR code, go to the page, key in the details, key in referral code refi 55, and you will get a $55 Grab voucher upon successful loan transition.
Okay,
so that is the current promo that I am having for this particular month.
Okay, so to all our viewers right now, Shamir has just given you guys a promo that cannot simply be missed. Get $55 Grab voucher for every successful loan refinance, right? So what you guys need to do is to, so you need to scan the QR code right below, right, to go to his website, dayn.sg, D-A-Y-N, bukan Dayn, D-I-N, D-A-Y-N.sg, and fill in the details and type REFF155. Let me just put it right here.
Are you able to put on a comment or make it pop up? I got a link as well if they want to do that.
So I put it in as well, a comment.
Yeah.
REF155, right?
There's a link. It's HTTP. Maybe you can type this out. http://bit.do/refi55. bit.do
Okay.
/refi REFI 55. REFI 55, not REF1, REFI. Yes, correct. http://bit.do/refi55.
There you go. So type REF155, go to HTTP,
or scan the QR code.
Scan the QR code. bit.do/refi55.
Correct.
Okay then. All right. So thank you so much, Shamir. We really appreciate it. Actually, we have over the time limit actually. Right. So,
1.5 hours.
but it's a well discussed session, I would say. And I think I learned a lot tonight. What do you think, Adi?
Yes, thank you, Shamir, for making me work overtime.
Thank you so much for the invite. I appreciate it.
But thanks for all
Yeah.
the tips, and it's a good discussion today because we brought out quite a number of things which some people might be afraid to even bring out, but it's good. At least if we are, putting things out in the open, and we just let everyone decide for themselves, right, after listening to all the tips that you have given and in from all the discussion that we have had. Thank you, Shami.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, everyone, and have a very good night ahead and good week ahead.
Thank you very
Right.
much, Shami. We really appreciate the time. We'll
Thank
catch up
you.
with you, yeah? You have a great Sunday or whatever that's left of it, lah.
Inshallah. Amin.
Right. Take care. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay then.
Yeah. Yes, Madeline.
Okay, so what do you think?
Yep. This issue of home loans and mortgage, I guess, is something that is close to most people because, like what Shami has said, is one of the bigger, ticket items. Your house basically is one of the biggest ticket items that you got to pay for every single month. And refinancing, we talk about repricing, we talk about the possibility of having a Sharia compliant home loan product and how actually it could be done, but it's kind of like you got to go through quite a number of hoops actually before you could actually come to something that is Sharia compliant. But who knows, right, Fazlin, that in the future something like that might be available for everyone. Yeah.
Correct. I think he did mention about regulation. One of them is regulation and the other one is the demand, right? So I think hopefully in the future, there are some regulations that can be passed in Parliament, right, to ensure that we can get the Sharia compliant finance that we have always wanted. And the second part is, of course, more demands will always help in that sense.
So must vote for Fazlin, right?
Vote for Shamir lah, apa aku. Shamir ketawa tu. Alright, so there are some announcements from our sponsors. If you may allow me to start first, Adi.
Yep, please.
Okay then, one of our sponsors, Mega Express International Private Limited. Mega Express International Private Limited is an exhibition organizer of many wedding fairs and halal food exhibitions at Singapore Expo for the past 22 years. And they will be organizing Singapore's first virtual wedding exhibition. Singapore's first virtual wedding exhibition targeting the Malay Muslim community right at the end of this month from the 28th to the 30th of August. Right, there will be many interesting activities and programs to look out for, including Zoom sessions between wedding vendors and wedding couples. Right, there will be other activities as well, including live forums, webinars, and appearances by celebrities and artists locally and abroad. Right, so business matching sessions will definitely encourage dealings and bookings to be made via online. So for couples who's going to tie up their knots soon, you can visit www.megawedding.sg to choose your preferred wedding vendors, and Mega Express will link you together via online Zoom sessions. All right. Adi.
Sounds like a very interesting event there, Fazlin.
Yes, it is, bro. We are trying out something new because offline is very much not in favor as we speak right now. So we are looking at online options. So this would be the first wedding exhibition that we're gonna do online for the Malay Muslim community, that is. So hopefully it will be a good start and you'll see more virtual wedding exhibitions coming up in the future, of course.
Sounds great.
Right. So Adi, any announcement for halal market?
Yep, halalmarket.sg is an online multi-vendor marketplace where shoppers can shop for anything and everything, like you have food and beverages, fashion and accessories, electronics, kitchenwares, and even automobiles, right? So if you are thinking of buying a car, you could actually go to halalmarket.sg and look for yourself a car, right? And there's also flash deals on the website for you to enjoy special discounts. and offers from the vendors. And if there's any business owners out there who are keen to be a vendor of Halal Market.sg, please leave a message on the Halal Market FB page, and we'll have a sales representative to follow up with you as soon as they can. Thank you.
There you go. All right then. Okay, so to all our viewers right now, thank you very much. We really appreciate you tuning in right now, spending the past 1 hour and a half, right, listening to me, Ardy, and even our guest speaker, Shamir. Thank you very much, guys. We look forward to seeing you again in our next episode, right? That will be next Sunday, and hopefully we'll have another interesting guest speaker where we will be talking to, right? Ardy, who is he?
Next week is going to be very interesting, and I think if you are an investor, a property investor, or if you are looking to invest, or this next session is something that you should actually really watch out for, because we have a property agent, but who's at the same time also a property investor with multiple properties. So he's not only actually he has done that, and it's his experiences would be very rich, and I guess I would encourage all of you to be actually looking out for this next session.
Yep, correct. And I think can we say his name on air right now?
His name is Mustafa,
there you
or
go.
in short you call him Moss.
Moss as in M-O-Z, not M-O-S-S. Okay, so Mustafa will be coming in next week, next Sunday evening, and he will be talking about how to recession-proof your property. I think that is something very, very interesting, and I'm looking forward to that as well. So thank you very much once again. Let's look forward to the next one then. Ardy, thank you very much for joining me tonight.
Thank you, Fazlin. Always
Alright,
happy
so
to be with you.
definitely, likewise, buddy. Likewise, buddy. It's always been a pleasure. All right, so to all of you, happy Sunday, guys. Take care and stay safe.